Good morning. This is Don again. I am from thereasonablerealtor.com, thereasonablerealtor.com. There's going to be a link to that site right down here in the comments section. I'm inviting you this morning to come and look at one of the real estate's 101 basics article, and it's all about contingencies. Today's article is about contingencies. Um, when you get a chance, slip on over there, take a look at it. When you get a chance here, watch this video to the end. In fact, there's a red square over here with which you can subscribe to this YouTube channel. Would appreciate it deeply if you would do that. Today's article is on contingencies. A contingency, quite simply, is a big but. Somebody says, I'm going to buy your house, but. That is the contingency. The contingency comes in. It may be contingent on an acceptable inspection. May be contingent on the buyer selling their own house first. But the but is what stops the transaction from going ahead right this minute. Now, an acceptable inspection means that you're going to have to consider your house pending contingent to an acceptable inspection. The buyer will have an inspector come out and look at your house. They will pay for their own inspector, and the inspector will give them a description of your house, and you'll find that description to be acceptable, or the buyer will find that description to be not acceptable. The description may be found to be acceptable if you were to make this repair and that repair, in which case they'll give you a little list of repairs. And they'll say, if you complete these repairs, then this inspection will become acceptable. We'll re-inspect it, and this time it'll be acceptable to us. So you could be contingent on an acceptable inspection. You could be contingent on the buyer selling their own house. Well, I'll buy your house, but I got this rascal over here in the other part of town. I got to sell before I can get a mortgage and pay for your house. So at that point, it is then contingent on a sale of another house. The trick is the status of your house during that period of time. Your house, in a way, is pending because it's not actively for sale, but it's not closed, it's not sold. It's pending, but it's pending with a contingency. So I guess you could look at it as a sort of a spectrum of pendingness. Your house is totally pending if there's nothing waiting to occur for the buyer, um, but it's pending contingent on something if the buyer says, yeah, I'll buy it, but. So what happens at that point is you satisfy that contingency, and the status of your house will then change from contingency to totally pending, and then it'll race on towards a closing. So whoever you've got doing your MLS work, you have to keep them in the loop. You have to keep them advised, because it is signified on the MLS whether it is sold with a contingency or sold without a contingency. That speaks to the motive of future lookers and possible buyers. Uh, some people might be less inclined to look at your house if it's pending with a contingency. If it's just straight pending, they'll be even less inclined to look at your house. So think carefully about what what status your house is. Uh, and if it's a contingency, then you've just got to deal with that. Some people say up front, well, I'm not going to accept an offer that carries a contingency. But the fact is, most people don't live an absolutely clean, sterile existence. And somebody is somewhere going to have a condition that has to be satisfied, therefore, a contingency. And if you say, I will not accept any contingencies, then you are cutting out a pretty big part of the buyer pool out there. So think about it long and hard. There's good and there's bad about it. But in the series of real estate terms 101, you now have a better grasp on what a contingency is. Again, go ahead and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Make comments down below. Thumbs up if you like it. Thumbs up if you think you like it. Make me a comment, ask me a question down there. I will respond to them just as quickly as I can. Thank you for your time.